Russ Faulkner with Your Training Team TV. We're a show that talks about management and leadership in very simple terms. We give you tips and tricks to help you get the most out of your people. On today's episode, we're going to talk about leadership and the movie Up in the Air. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
That you could ever do, but if it takes, an act of Congress to get it done, it won't get done. Case in point.
Yeah. Say no more.
Yeah, and give yourself enough time to make a difference. Okay? Doing this process and then 2 weeks later saying, where are my results? Where are my results? Is often not going to happen. This is an evolution, not a revolution. So this is going to take us time to do. Make sure it makes sense and people understand it. Ensure you have the resources needed to do it. These things, because they're becoming the big thing in your department, shouldn't be an ad. It shouldn't be a do all these other things and this. This should become the thing. And if it doesn't become the thing, then you're probably not focused on your strategic plan the right things. If you go back to your job and it's like, I'm doing all these other things and none of them support any elements of the strategic plan, then you're probably either working on the wrong things or the plan isn't really realistic for what's happening. You have to make this a focus. It has to become the thing that you're working on. Garbage in, garbage out. Kind of along the same lines as the poor assumptions. If you have bad information going in, you're going to have bad information coming out.
In the movie, there's some funny moments when he teaches her the art of travel, which for anyone who's done any level of business travel will understand and truly appreciate. But the leadership lesson that I want to talk about today is really twofold. Number one, difficult conversations are just that, difficult. So keep them as simple as possible. And number two, don't let the tools get in the way of the outcome or the relationship. Now, the movie is filled with difficult conversation. I mean, the team's job is to let people go and to make them feel good about it. For anyone that's actually had to let somebody go, you know that that's a very difficult thing to do. But they do it by digging into the person's past and pulling out things that make them feel good.
That died. Now, Dwight Eisenhower has a great quote about strategic planning that I love. It says, planning is great until the shooting starts. And I think nothing in this day and age can compete with that one. Because almost every one of the examples that you gave me earlier about why your strategic plan failed was, we had a great plan, and then the shooting started. Okay? So it's important to think about what happens when the shooting starts. So it's taking the time to plan for those contingencies. So we all know what's going to happen. You can look at your strategic plan and you can probably pick what are the three things that somebody's going to add at some point in time. And think about what happens when the shooting starts. And another one is leaders having the flavor of the week mentality. Okay? Oh, this is something cool. We got to do this. And it's making sure you have the information as well as the backbone to be able to stand up to those leaders and say, hey, that's fantastic. Let me tell you how it either fits in with what our strategic plan is, or let me tell you how it doesn't fit in with our strategic plan, and here's what we can do next year around these types of things. Yeah, and if you get a lot of pushback where that leader is continuing, hey, we want to move forward with this new initiative, then you can say, yes, we can move forward with that new initiative. What do you want us to take off? What thing do you want us to not do? Because if you don't have those discussions, what happens? You keep adding, you keep adding, you keep adding, and at the end of the year, you haven't done anything. Okay? So that's the important part here. So those are some of the pitfalls within strategic planning. So thank you guys very much for your time today. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a note. This was just a pretty high-level overview of strategic planning and the process that we go through. And I'm going to turn it back over to Alexia. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ.
Now this lesson, bringing it all together, takes all of the things that we focused on in lesson 1 and continues to delve in a little bit deeper to help you gain a bigger and better understanding of the mortgage industry. This lesson, just like lesson 1, is made up of several modules that are designed to be 5 to 10 minutes in length, which allow you to really dig into those areas that you want to focus on. Now for lesson 2, we're going to first focus on the metrics of the loan and spend some time talking about credit history and credit reports. And then we're going to talk about home valuation and home appraisals. Specifically in home appraisals, we're going to share some examples of specific home appraisals and talk about how to read them and what are the things that make up that home appraisal to really help get that adequate and clear value of that property.